This video is a continuation of the sun path video earlier on. But what we're going to do is we're going to share with you on how to create wind profile and wind rows using Ladybug. Okay, so I've just moved the sun path elements to the top here. Okay, I can also click on this and middle mouse button and disable it. Okay, so this will not let Grasshopper function on any other commands from here onwards. So let's just go to here, and what we're going to do is we are going to create the windrows first. So double click on the canvas and type windrows. This will be the command. And what we need to connect will be the wind speed to wind the data here, and then the wind direction over here. Okay, by default, it will put it at the 0, 0, 0 location, the origin point. So what we can also do is we can create another center point. So I create a new layer, make it active, and then click a point. I can put the point here. And what we can do is we can create a new point here. Right click, set one point, choose this point, and connect this to the, see? Now you have where your windrows is. Okay, so let's just double click and go to the top view. So you can see this is the wind speeds. Where you have this over here means it's coming from the east and blowing towards the west. Similarly, this is blowing from the northeast to the southwest, but there is also a bit of wind here during another period of time. The color indicates the maximum wind speed for that particular time, and the number of bars will be proportionally the number of time hours, okay, out of the entire year. And one cool thing about this is that we can also adjust the color scheme. So you can see here, there's this legend parameter. So I can make a custom legend parameter by double clicking and typing legend. And we can change this to legend parameters here and connect this to here. And what we can adjust is the colors. So you can see here, this is colors. So you double click and use the LB colors range over here. Okay, so type color and choose LB color range. Connect to here. And when you hover over here, you realize there's an index from 0 to 29. So Ladybug has already set up a series of sample color palettes, and you just need to double click and create a slider from 0 less than 29. And connect this here. And now we can scrub through and you can see all the different colors. If you want to have further changes to the colors, what you can do is you can choose a more neutral color, like say this one, and then you can bake it and you can manipulate it later on in Photoshop or Illustrator. Okay, I think this is good for me, and I will leave it as this particular color for now. And what I'm going to do is proceed to the wind profile. Okay, so I'm just going to move this down. I can also group this. So middle mouse button and group. I can right click here and name this as my wind rose. Okay, so there's always a label here, wind rose. So to proceed to the wind profile, just double click and type wind profile. So you see here LB wind profile. Move this to over here, and what we need is the wind speed and the wind direction. Okay, and it should show up somewhere again at the origin point. Let's just take a look here. Yes. Okay. So what you will see here, I'm also going to set this to the same base point. So let me just move this to the side and connect this over to here. So you will see it here now. Okay. So this is just to show you where this particular wind rose is oriented is usually to where, sorry, the wind profile is oriented is usually to where the wind rose is. So the prevailing wind direction, which is over here, the east. So from east blowing to the west. That's why you can see these are all the wind speeds. You can change the color here as well. Right, so for example, if I were to connect this, you see now this will all match in terms of the coloration. Okay. The next thing that we can do is we can adjust the profile height, how high it goes to, because you can see here my reference file. This is Hong Kong and it's rather tall with all its buildings here. So, oh, it's so tall. Let me just double check again. Oh, yes, very tall. Okay, so I'm gonna set this height, profile height, say from 0 to 450. Okay, that's 0 is too low, so we can slide it up to 450. And now let's see, I can move my point and move it to the tallest building, like so. Okay. And then with this, you can have a good representation of how it looks like. Okay, so I think it should be here. Change this to this view. And let me change this step view to back. Yes, so this is more correct. So you can see here, these are the wind speeds, how it varies. And of course, you should adjust this to be at the same height. Okay, or most probably this is based off on, because this is Hong Kong, right? So This is based off from the sea level, 0 meters above sea level. So this probably is true because Hong Kong is hilly, and this is the where it is above sea level. But also again, just try to double check your CAD mapper file. Okay, so with this, you should be able to get your analysis of the wind profile and wind rows. You can group this. There are further things that you can calibrate. For example, the height that you want to start off with for the uh, input of the EPW file weather information. This is usually at 10 meters, so we don't touch this. This calculation actually just does a mathematical extrapolation. And the other thing that you can do here is you can adjust which terrain this is going across. So obviously where it's going across water, the wind speeds will be much higher. So that's why the range is at 3. So I'm just going to create a slider now from 0 to 3. And indicate this over here. So this is at a city range, okay? And then we can adjust this to say to be number 3. So this is over the water. Okay. So for city, sometimes it's because of the wind tunnel effect. That's why you can see there's a change in the wind speeds. Okay, especially when it goes upwards. So versus 1, which is for suburban, and then 2, which is for country, and then 3 again for water. So here versus here. Okay. So you can export this as an image for your presentations. You can hide the rest over here. This point you can also hide just so that it's neater. And if you have all these points set up in the same layer, then you can also switch them off. So it will be neat for you to export. Okay. You can also bake them like what I've shown in the sun path video. And then you can further manipulate them in Illustrator. Okay. So just to show you again, wind rows, wind speeds, and the customization of how to represent it. That's all for today.